And then I'm going to tweet out here. Okay, tweeting out here. Okay. Feel free to retweet that while I go drop everything elsewhere. Okay, edit, copy link to this tweet, copy, drop that in Facebook. There we go. Facebook's done. Leave. Okay. And retweet here. Retweet there.
That the pasty guy with a pinch. Yeah. That'd be Tet.
What? What did I miss?
You see the pasty guy with a pinch.
Oh. I don't know what a pinch is, but okay.
I'll need to take him somewhere to get, color matched, and I really can't talk much because I'm pretty damn pasty myself.
Okay, there's one. There's two. Where else does this go? Where's Scott? There is Scott. Okay, here we go. So they can see and hear us, obviously.
Awesome, yes.
All right. It is your monkey show, so feel free to fire it off.
All right. To the show notes.
Ah.
What?
That is what...
Oh, the little beard on the chin. I got it. Okay.
The pitch. All right.
Who's leading this monkey show?
Looks
you
like it's me.
Okay.
All righty. Getting ready to go in 5, 4, 3, 2. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
The noobs are coming.
It was a great summer set.
STO on stale. Act quickly. Very quickly.
Lodestone is loaded with fun.
And we are talking to ourselves. Shocker.
Talking to ourselves. We'll be talking to ourselves. Oh, sorry.
We do that without being prompted, honestly.
True.
All that and more
Gamers.
coming up right now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 306 of the podcast celebrating you, the AIE Podcast gaming community. The Die Has Been Podcast. Greetings, gamers. This is Mewcow. And to my left is Makala.
Hey guys, there's a blueberry croissant bake in the guild kitchen.
And to my virtual right is Tetsemi.
She wrote, "Do not eat" on the croissants. It's a crime against humanity.
At least they weren't homemade croissants.
Yeah, I would ignore the note.
You would.
I would ignore the note, so yeah.
I'll do that. I'll make those sometime soon.
So if it wasn't already evident, this week's going to be one of those host shows. When you leave us to ourselves, we talk to ourselves. That's just how it goes.
We're gamers. It's kind of our default.
Yep.
Yep.
So we'll be talking more to ourselves shortly. But first, let's go ahead and cover this week's news.
AIE News.
All right, in streaming and guild podcast news, a SOTOR Escape Podcast 259 original trailer reaction show. This week on this episode, AIE Sema, Max the Gray, and Astromech EPC 259 play the original 3 trailers and react to the comments, including a dive into the Malgus origin and story arc leading up to the SOTOR watch. And in SOTOR... Sorry?
It was very good. If you haven't watched those
I
3
need
trailers... Yeah, you need to watch the trailers and listen to the podcast. It was very well done.
Awesome. And in Escape Podcast 260, The True Emperor, In this episode, AIE Sema, Max Gray, and Astromech EPC 260 make the Malgus circle complete by running the false emperor flashpoint, or true emperor, from a certain point of view, much like the truths we cling to. And in our upcoming streams, ESO mandatory MSM?
Mandatory fun night, I think.
I know,
somebody said something like
MFN. My God, I can't type. And New Braid are both streaming this week. Those are going to be primarily on the AIE podcast or the AIE stream. And I know Kidney's also streaming them on her personal stream as well.
that. Yeah, which will get hosted on the AIE stream.
Correct. And for No Man's, and I think Mew's going to dig into this a little bit later, or he can now as well. Destiny 2, the guild is in need of people getting into new max level and working towards the clan goals to get the new banner perks updated or upgrades.
Yeah, we can talk more about that when we get into what we've been doing.
Yeah, I know you've been playing a lot of it lately.
When I'm not playing WoW, of course.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And in WoW news, are you new to raiding? Do you feel like you need to get your feet wet, or just want to raid in a fun and friendly environment? Well, New Braid starts up again October 6th. The only requirements are that you're at max level, want to have fun, and are willing to die over and over and over again. Oh yeah, and pick up Kinia issue floor tanks. If you're interested, talk to Dan Kinia for details. You can find her in-game, on Discord, or even Twitter. Just make sure you use the hashtag Where's Kenny.
On the floor.
I know. And in the Running of the Beef 15, Zandalar Forever, we will have Sai on next week to talk about it, but the event is scheduled for October 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And there is, if you hit the link in the show notes, it's not, I don't want to say it's a requirement, but it's a different server, and they want you at level 10. So that they can actually get you into a raid group, because if you're not level 10, you can't join a raid group. So take a look at the post for more information. And please remember to use the AIE LFO community to look for officers in-game. There are notes on the front page of Umami, and you can always ask in Guild if you need it. It's in the Guild message of the day when you log in, etc., etc. And a reminder to please use the raid recruitment channels in Discord to find raid teams. Now that more people are gearing up for 120, there are people looking for teams looking for people. And don't forget, you can also use the general guild chat when you're looking for groups or raid people. So we're a very large guild. Don't be afraid to ask for people to join a group you're starting. To go do a world boss, to go do a dungeon, to go run a mythic, to go raid, etc.
That's why you're one of the many reasons to be in a guild.
Exactly.
Yep, there are tons of us lurking, most likely, and we'll gladly hop up and say, sure, I'll join you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. In ESO news, Mandatory Fun Night is still on Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern. The Somerset event to unlock a pet and then a mount and then a house has ended. AIE did its part to get the achievement completed, more so, I would say, than a lot of groups. It essentially was exploring Somerset. That was literally the event. You had to go to, it's not quite as in depth as the WoW Pathfinder stuff, but they just want you to go to certain, vista points and just kind of see things. One of which, however, required you to go a little bit into one of the quest lines to actually get to that unlock. But still, that was interesting. Yeah. The entire ESO community did hit the goal. So everyone that has bought Somerset or buys it by, I think, October 7th, I believe, is the cutoff, will get access to this pet, mount, and house. So that's pretty cool. They are also planning on having plenty of items created for people to spend their money on. On October 8th, they were releasing 4 Somerset High Elf style furniture packs in the Crown store for purchase if people want to buy them to start furnishing that brand new Grand Sijic Villa. Sijic is how that word is spelled. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Or I should say it's not spelled, but said. It's now that house is unlocked, they want to give you a reason to spend money since they gave it to you for free. So they're coming out with 4 really interesting looking sets, which, the High Elves kind of have a almost not quite Japanese, like a European Japanese look to them. It's kind of interesting. Lots of secure trees, but with other kind of big castle stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Nice.
They are planning on having sets available for your parlor, your kitchen and dining room, your bedroom, and the bathroom. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool. And speaking of things available for sale, SDO, 33% off lifetime sub sale going on now, literally now through 10/1, which is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Also going on to that same time, 20% off sale, service sale. There's also an XP. It is also an XP bonus weekend. Great time to level mains or alts. The Phoenix Price Pack is going on now, but this one actually goes on a little longer until 10/5 at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Get a free Phoenix Price Pack at Drozana Station each day. You can buy more. You can buy more from the Lithium store. It's a great way to stock up on gear tokens that cost no dilithium on use. And technically, the cost of the boxes from the Lithium store for the boxes converted into these upgrade tokens ends this. That's a weird sentence. And technically, the cost of the boxes from the Dilithium store for the boxes converted over to these upgrade tokens ends up saving you dilithium compared to the regular upgrade tokens that use dilithium in the upgrade process. Yes, Greebog put that into a spreadsheet at Chuck. He didn't, though, include the conversion rate on it. So you might want to just verify all of that before you do that. The fleet can always use more personnel and resources for the fleet holdings. They're still making decent progress on the various holdings, but of course, every bit helps. The Spire is closing up on Tier 2 Research Wing, which will unlock the better tactical consoles in the game for everyone. Operation Wing is also closing on getting its big Tier 2 project unlocked as well. And then once that is completed, they'll be able to work on the overall Spear Tier 2 project, which will unlock the fleet versions of the 100-day veteranship.
I think 1,000-day.
1,000-day veteranships. Wow.
Yep.
Big difference.
All right. See, that's why we needed the spreadsheet for the conversion.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yes, exactly. All right. And in for SWTOR news, this week was Republic side for Conquest. We hit the large goal yesterday. For MFN, we had a prep team start Scum and Villainy an hour beforehand so that as a 16-person team, they could finish it. The operation has 7 bosses, and the prep team got the first 5 down. Special thanks for the idea goes out to Zen. Next week will be the Imperial side for Conquest. And patch 5.9.3 is also dropping this week with a new Hutball map and the start of a week of double XP and command XP. Thank you and welcome to all the new members that have joined the guild recently. We've had a ton join in the last month and want to say we're happy to have them. Also, keep an eye out on the SWTOR channel in AIE Discord for details regarding the next mega event, which is happening towards the end of October.
Sounds exciting.
Yep.
Well, alrighty. And in Final Fantasy XIV news, a new patch has hit, patch 4.4, Prelude in Violet. As the patch title suggests, it is prepping for the story for what's to come in the next expansion, which should be announced at this year's FanFest, which is in November 15th through 17th. The patch's big features include, of course, new story, a new high-end 8-player raid, more AlphaScape stuff, the 4th of the 4 Lord's Trials. The Doman Enclave has been expanded, which is it's cool that every patch they go a little bit more, just because they're rebuilding the Enclave. It's kind of a big deal. But this time it looks like they're doing what looks like a traditional, I would say, a Japanese-looking lantern lighting ceremony. It's a ceremony for remembrance of lost loved ones and stuff like that. It looks like they're going to mirror that in the game to go along with the Dolmen story, which is pretty cool.
Very cool.
And they're also expanding on the wedding ceremonies, giving people more gifts, as well as adding anniversary ceremonies, because they figured, I guess a lot of people aren't really divorcing and getting new weddings, so let's find another way to get their money, which is, of course, anniversary ceremonies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But it's cool. It's they're adding looks like more gifts for your guests actually, and as well as more of the kind of one of the more sought after items when you're doing the wedding ceremony is these like angel wing what they call them, prisms. It's like a little emote that does a thing, and they're adding a new type of wings on there as well. So I'm sure that's going to drive some sales, but it looks really cool. There are also new wings in the bonus zone for the treasure maps. So there's a whole section in the patch notes that you just want to read through that. It will take way too long to go through. Also, there are new dungeons for your Grand Company team to go through. Your Grand Company team is the NPC dungeon team that you can actually bring up from scratch, and like you're basically making your own dungeon runners to go with you. So it's kind of cool.
Nice.
There's also a new Grand Company rank, which I believe is Captain. So that means it'll bump your max Grand Company seals allowance, and it'll also give you new stuff to buy. So, new stuff to buy is always cool. Also tons of new housing items, including mannequins, which everyone's been waiting for. Mannequins will let you display all those neat gear sets you've been collecting over the years. So you can actually have versions of yourself with all the fun stuff you've been gathering at all the dungeons and raids, of course. And of course, there are some new games in the Gold Saucer. They tend to add those from time to time. And on to some of the class stuff, the most notable being that bards can now play the bongos.
That's awesome.
Very, very important. Bards have so many fun instruments now that it's kind of cool to walk through one of the towns and you'll see some people in their bards, and you'll just hear music because they are now doing full music. I want to say Lotor has something similar to this, but it's like practically every instrument you can think of now, which now includes bongos. They added some new emotes, including one that comes with the phone app because, by the way, they have a phone app. The phone app lets you do auctions, play with your inventory, and other fun stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. They kind of essentially, the Armory app that WoW just stopped. I think Final Fantasy said, "Hey, that looks interesting. We'll pick that up and we'll run with it." So they essentially did that. There is one new dungeon, one new hard mode dungeon, and believe me, there is so much more. I was paging through it for interesting tidbits and got about third way down and said, "Wow, this is going to take forever." There is just so much content in this patch that if you haven't been around for a while, you might want to dive in. If you feel like you've gotten to a good spot in WoW and can take a break, go ahead and dive in and have some fun.
Very cool. All right, and also if you feel like doing this, Guild Wars 2, the Mist Wars rolling along at the end of this month. Is that September or is that October? I should check that out. In any case, with enhanced bonuses for controlling the runes of power in the Borderlands, take advantage of the high stakes to earn great rewards in WVW for a week.
That is going to week-long bonus World versus World, September 28th to October 5th.
Oh, great! That's going on right now.
Yep, exactly. Yes.
All right, well, that was all of our gaming community news. So with that, let's go ahead and chat about what we've been doing in and out of game. So now we discuss stuff here.
Yes. And I put you first on that list, so you know. Hey, Mia, what have you been doing in and out of game? There we go. I've dealt that lead in.
So, as you can, those that are watching the video can see, I don't have my camera up because I haven't found it yet. I moved. So that's been the bulk of what I've been focusing on for the last 2 weeks is first packing and then moving and then unpacking things. And clearly I haven't unpacked enough because I haven't found everything. So, yeah, that'll be my life for a while. Hopefully by the time the next podcast rolls around, I'll have everything set up and you can see the new digs. But I do have a new den area and we'll get it all set up. Right now, the den looks like Blizzard blew up in here. Quite literally. It's just everywhere. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But other than that, taking up most of my life and making me wake up way earlier than I'm used to. Lots and lots of Warcraft, of course. It's the elephant in the room, the 800-pound gorilla has been WoW. Everyone has been very distracted by what's going on, whether you're happy with it, whether you're angry with it. It's definitely gotten everyone's attention right now, to the point where it's interesting. The stuff that ESO was doing was kind of interesting. That was their attempt to say, hey guys, we're still here. We want to play too. And so they had that whole event that gave you something that you just couldn't ignore. It was like, oh, hey, you like pets? Here's a pet. Oh, you like mounts? Here's a mount. Oh, you like houses? Here's a house.
Wow.
But you have to come play. like not just you. Everyone has to come play. Like, this was a joint effort. Everyone had to have Somerset, the latest expansion for ESO, and then also do stuff in Somerset, get the Pathfinder achievement. And for every time someone got the Pathfinder achievement, it counted towards the overall goal to get everyone all this stuff. So it was an interesting thing to watch, as the bar slowly filled up. And it was kind of funny because at first everyone was like, hey, what's going on here? The bar's already at 20%, because this is when it started.
Right.
Like, well, yeah, 20% of you have already done it. Oh, that makes sense.
Definitely.
So yeah, that got everyone interested. I mean, obviously, it brought a lot of bodies into Somerset. I did my part as well. I didn't have too much to do. I just had a couple of spots that I didn't get to yet. But yeah, that was kind of fun. And then other than that, I've been spending a lot of time in Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. As we mentioned, I don't know if it was last podcast or the one before. They have a new their year expansion. They have like little DLC expansions throughout the year, but every year they'll have year two, like this one's called year 2 because it's the second year for Destiny 2, and It's called Forsaken. And so I've been trying to spend some time in there, get through the story quest, see how things are going right now. See what they're doing to keep people engaged, in content, that sort of thing. I'm not sure.
Is the new max level 40?
I think it's 50. Yeah, because I'm at 49 right now. Mm-hmm. So I think the max level is 50.
Because I remember it was 20 for free, and then, or not free, but for the initial, and then if you unlocked everything, I know you could get 30. So did they go from 30 to 50?
Yeah.
Wow. I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is it's weirdly enough, yeah, there's a lot of levels, but I don't know why there's so many levels, because it seems like you go through them so quickly.
Yeah, and there's not stuff tied to the levels because you get that independently of what level you're at. So
yeah, the only thing that levels do is control the eye level or light level of the gear you get.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the cool things they did do, however, and I'm seeing more and more MMOs do this, is that when a quest or whatever finishes and it gives you gear, if that quest made you level, it makes the gear pop up at that level.
Right, which is good.
Yeah, and Warcraft actually did that. I don't know if it was they started doing that in Legion or BFA, but I've noticed that they did that as well, because they put the scalable stuff in. So at some point they fixed it so that if you leveled when that quest was turned in, the new gear would then also be the proper level. Yeah,
because it doesn't determine the level of the gear until it awards you it for the completed quest. So, which is nice.
Yeah, so the orders is in the proper order. So they did the same as for Destiny 2. So I've been running through that. It's an interesting story. I was kind of annoyed with the story at first because it was the way that they got everyone's attention with the new expansion was, hey, we're killing off your favorite character.
Oh.
Yeah, which I heard. I heard that, but I haven't been paying attention, so no spoilers.
Well, that's the thing is that's how they start everything. Like they made sure that you can't get around. I mean, unless you're just pretending Destiny doesn't exist, they wanted you to know this is happening. That's how they started it.
Right.
Like this is how it all ends, and then thing happens. Yeah. So you spend at least the beginning of the story so far, essentially getting vengeance for this character.
Okay.
So that's been the focus of the game so far. It's interesting. It's a different take. They said that they were wanting to take things darker. They think that one of the problems with Destiny 2 was that it was just a little too shiny, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So they're saying, okay, well, we're going to give
too shiny. I don't get that at all.
I don't know. I think maybe they were like it was too White Knight-ish.
Well, I mean, the whole thing is light based.
Exactly. But
okay.
I mean, if you looked at Destiny 1, especially when the Taken King started, it got real grimy there. And people loved that. And like people point at Taken King as when Destiny 1 got good. So they're essentially trying to follow in those footsteps, saying, okay, fine, we'll make it nice and grimy for you. Here you go. Sending you to the what is it? The what do they call it? The Rift. It's essentially like it's a graveyard of sorts that's circling around Saturn. And it's like chunks of planetoid all kind of cobbled together with various things. And I don't know how the place has gravity. It shouldn't, but it does. Obviously they don't need to have, air, because I think pretty much all the races have helmets. So, or they don't breathe. One of the two. But yeah, that's been pretty interesting. And I like and hate what they've been doing. It's kind of one of those give and take kind of things. It's the gear upgrade system. You know how you can upgrade, like say you have a gun you really like, you can take it with you. When you get a gun like it, you can use its light level to upgrade that one. Right. They made that harder to do.
Oh, why?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
Because they want you to play the game more. Essentially, what they did is they. Oh, sorry. It's they added essentially like crafting material stuff you have to get.
Oh, so now you can't just have the weapon; you have to have the weapon plus something else to do.
Yes. So all that stuff you've been gathering. Part. Yeah. When you're like out in Titan, you were picking up the stuff, basically like picking the plants, like the plants and minerals and stuff. You need that stuff now. So it kind of makes sense.
As long as it's not this rare item drops off this rare enemy and you have to farm them for 20 hours to get it. If it's just stuff you're going to run into in the game, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, it's they're trying to give you more to do, honestly, and it kind of makes sense. Like the way it kind of goes is the stuff you're supposed to gather is more or less where you might have gotten that weapon. So if you might have gotten that weapon on Mercury, then you probably have to get the Mercury plant or whatever it is. So it's not too bad. And the other big upgrade they made, which is why they put this in, I think, is that now whenever you collect a gun, period, it's like transmog. You've unlocked it, period. You can now go to the collections tab and say, hey, that weapon I got 20 levels ago, I kind of want a better version of it. So for a lower cost than I think it was to actually upgrade the existing version of it, you can just spawn that gun. It won't be at the best level,
right?
But it'll be pretty high up there. So if it's just like, say you're in the raid and it's like, if I had this gun right now, it would be really useful.
It'd make this life a lot easier. Got it.
Yes. So, and they don't want to make it like the current level. They want you to have to earn it to get it to where it's like the best thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
didn't they also change the weapon types, like which one went in which slot?
Yes and no. It's kind of confusing, but what it is any weapon type can end up in any slot. And so far, there's no rhyme or reason almost.
Yeah.
Like last night, I was playing and I suddenly got a sniper rifle in my first slot. I'm like, what?
No, that goes in the second slot.
So if they're making it so that if you really wanted to, you could
dual wield sniper rifles.
Yes, you can just have 3 sniper rifles essentially. Okay. If you really wanted to.
This is my boomstick. This is my longer range, less boomstick. And this is my something got up close while I was using one of them. Let me switch real quick and shoot somebody with a sniper rifle. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I don't know if you could even do it with the same sniper rifle or not. I haven't dug into it that much because I'm still leveling. I don't want to expend my resources trying to figure this out yet until I'm at max level.
Oh yeah,
definitely not.
So
it sounds like some interesting changes.
Yeah, it's been fun. It gives you something to do. It gives you something to earn. And we'll see how the story ends. But
because I got mine to 30. Now here's a question: if you bought the what is it, season pass? I think that's what it was called. Do you automatically get the new content, or do you have to buy it again?
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the year 1 season pass.
Oh, got it. So now there's a year 2 season pass to get. Okay.
Yep.
I see how this game is played. Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
No, it makes sense. This is instead of having a monthly subscription, this is how they work.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. But now the year 2 season pass will get you all the content they release in season 2, and you don't have to buy it individually.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty much same as year 1. But
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's been interesting, and I'll have to play it a bit more to give it a final verdict. But I don't totally hate it. I'm not like, oh, this is the best game ever, but I will say bows. That's the one big thing they brought into Forsaken.
Mhm.
If you like playing with the bow that Hanzo has in Overwatch, it plays a lot like that, where you kind of have to, like, if you just shoot, it'll shoot a very limp arrow, but if you hold it for a second, it'll do the full power ranged arrow. And they're very satisfying to shoot off, and they have all kinds of extra stuff that the arrows themselves could be like an explosive arrow or like a chain arrow,
or,
stuff like that. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that way. And I only have the one bow so far because it's a new thing. They don't want it to be everywhere, but I want to dig into it and see if there's some other more satisfying bows out there. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's caught my attention for a while. At least between raiding.
Yeah. Because my favorite weapon that I still use almost exclusively and just change the type on it as needed is the one with the I think it's called the black hole.
Oh, that's not hard light?
No, this is the one you shoot. Basically, you shoot it into a group of enemies, and then when it hits somebody, it explodes and does an AOE replica of itself and takes out a bunch of other people.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's better than it acts, at least for what I've seen. It acts a lot better than grenades. Like if you hit the enemy that stuck its head out the door, it'll hit that enemy and the 3 that are hiding behind the pillar that were questioning why the one stuck its head out the door. So it's a really good room clearer.
You're gonna lose your head. Stop that.
Exactly. So cool. All right. So anything else, Mew?
That's pretty much been it. I've not had time to focus on anything. Like I said, I've been moving. So.
Also, Mew, I'm afraid that you missed some fun behind you directly, as your wife just sent me a picture of your child in the box where all the balls that are now scattered around the floor came in, and he's now in the box like he's a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's been having all kinds of fun. He now has his own upstairs play area on top of his room. So
gotcha.
He's just been kind of spreading out and just, yeah.
Yeah. And since you've been talking, he's been a cat and he's been Batman.
Yeah.
Always be Batman.
Yeah, always.
Yep. I think he was a bunny before that. And
Yep. I saw the bunny pictures and picture in the crinoline,
Yeah, and I think he's been a puppy off and on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I'm glad he's having a lot of fun with the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's definitely been interesting getting everything unpacked frantically so that we can keep him busy while we're trying to get to everything else.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the joy of that age, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, McCullough, what have you been up to?
Rolling dice mostly. So Thursday, our game with the Tadpole folks, we got into a battle, but we're basically doing a dungeon crawl, but it's in like a fire giant lair, which is a lot of fun because they happen to have slaves. And both SJ and I's characters really have a lot of issues with slavery and have like part of our motivation is helping to free slaves. So we're like, yeah, we're going in. We don't care if it's not really what we're doing right now. That's where we're going. So it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of retreating in this part of the campaign. Like, giants coming. Let's turn around. But Thursday night, towards the end of the night, we started a battle with 5 of us versus like 8 male drow that kept summoning things. So that was fun. We actually stopped mid-battle and the game was running long. So good time though. Except I'm almost out of spells and good times. Thankfully I am not the healer.
That's good.
Yeah, you know how I feel about healing. I do it under protest, but I do it way more often than I intend to.
I know. What's up with that?
But where I am the healer is our Friday night D&D game. Primary healer. I have a co-healer. So that was great. We missed out. We haven't played in like a month and a half. So we got to play this week. Last game had ended with the moon turning into Cthulhu and saying, "Hey, do you think I forgot about you?" My character freaking out. Continued there. She's like, "What are you?" It's like, "Oh, you know me, daughter." I'm like, "You're not my dad." So was basically informed that I have been marked, but I also I've been marked, but I've also marked one of my party members. So as a player, I know exactly what this is. It's because her prior best friend / bodyguard now follows Azathoth.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, continuing on the Lovecraftian gods. But of course, my character doesn't know this. We are also exploring an underground layer. We learned about the battle between the shadow dragon Arthraxis and the dwarven hero Alistair Bronzebeard that happened many, many years ago. Learned about the Shadowfell, and we found one of Arthraxis's shadow dragon scales. It really wanted to be found. It had been buried. It wanted to be found. We tried to we're planning on taking it with us because it absorbed magic. It was great. It'd be an amazing shield. Except for the fact that we realized that if we would have taken it with us, it would have helped open a portal between the Forgotten Realms and the Shadowfell. I'm going to take a drink of water.
Are you okay?
Too much talking at once.
Sorry about that.
It was the start of a drinking problem.
Right? So, and luckily we found the statue of the dwarven hero still holding his axe that had been blessed by Bahamut. That was illuminated. That shined on the shield. So we basically had the scale, we had to leave it there where it could be neutralized constantly because it's in the light, then it's fine. So that was a lot of fun. It was a really good night. Even though we're second level, we got to play with a lot of our abilities. The fact that my character had cast light was really great because we were fighting kobolds who get disadvantage. Our dragonborn had dragon-like abilities. It was a good time.
Cool.
What else is going on gaming-wise? I am actually getting ready next month to go out to visit my friends that I do our weekend stuff with. And we are doing it was told to us to prepare a character, Old West style character, but it's D&D based, so still the D&D races, general classes. Oh, by the way, it's 1865 post-Civil War, and there is weaponry, more modern weaponry. Oh, and plan this for Ravenloft.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, it's going to be a good time. So right now, so it's really cool because the slave races are the freed slaves are orcs and drow. Wood elves are Native American. I'm not sure which side what races specifically were involved in the Civil War. So I decided I'm playing a wood elf. And originally we were told to go do level 5, and then we got messages. I'm assuming everyone else got the same message or you can do 4 levels in your primary class and 2 levels as a second class, so multi-class thing.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so I'm going to do a rogue, but her subclass is scout, so she's almost like a ranger.
Okay.
Few levels of bard because she's essentially Annie Oakley. She's a trick. She does trick shots, things like that.
And sings while doing it.
I'm sorry, and sings while doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a good time. We have another. We know we have another. Oh, and we can't tell each other our classes, but we can tell each other our general archetypes. So we have another gnome, or we have another gunslinger. He's a gnome. We have a human. Won't say what he. Well, I know what he is. A human drug addict who just wants to play his music and be left alone. He's a noble. And then we have a mercenary. So that's what we're planning on there. And in the and more fun stuff, and there's a lot of machinations going on. Our mage game, we're gonna start up. We're gonna continue this upcoming weekend. But something really, really fun happened off screen. I don't even know if I told you this one, Cam, or how much I told you this. So I have a buddy. His name is Mills. Cam's buddy as well. We're walking to coffee. I'm telling him what's going on with the mage stuff, some of the conflicts between characters. And he happens to know the storyteller. We're all mutual friends. Years ago, we were going to do a game together that fell through. So Mills was like, hey, tell Matt if he ever needs another player, I'm game. I'm like,
Oh, no.
I only need another player. Oh, no, it gets better. So I'm like, all right. And so we get back to the office and I message him like, hey, if you need another player, Mills is game. So he's okay, well, let me talk. I'd love to game with him. I do owe him. Let's see what we can do. So he talks to our other friend that runs a game in the same world. And she kind of talks him down to the idea of like, you know what, I can't have another player in the other game. And, at the same time, Mills and I are talking. And I'm like, and if you can't play, I bet you would be a great foil. So Next day, Matt messages, he's like, it's not going to work as a character. We have our dynamic. I don't want to ruin that. We kind of think about that. And 6 players in this type of game is really challenging.
Yeah.
But, and here's a big but. Because in the last session, we met a vampire. So it's like, how about I let Mills play the vampire prince of this city as an NPC?
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Okay. So he won't be sometimes he'll be playing on occasion, but also though he's going to be in the background controlling certain aspects you guys have no knowledge of. If anybody knows about vampire and mage both, Mills chose Tremere, which is the vampire clan that is magically based.
Uh-huh.
They came from the Order of Hermes. Oh, it's great. The Order of Hermes, which is basically your classic mage, like your Merlin is Order of Hermes.
Right.
I guess, guys, I said that a big but. One of our players, or one of our characters, who is the one that like he's on his own, he has his own plans, all of that is Order of Hermes, so it's going to mess with him. One of the other players or characters is a vampire hunter.
Oh, jeez. They're all so screwed.
Oh my god, they have no idea how screwed they are.
Yeah.
They have no. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, please don't go try to go after this guy. You don't understand. And of course, the vampire hunter is the character that my character is close to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for God's sake. And then I'm doing it on both ends. I'm like, Mills, do not kill the priest. Don't kill the priest. Just don't kill him. My character has been, even besides, the fact that it's another player, my character has been traumatized enough. She doesn't need her friend to die. And the other end, I'm like, Al, please do not go after this vampire. He will devour you.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand between the two of you and beg for your life and then offer this damn vampire anything he wants to not kill you. So let's just not have this happen.
Let's not have that scenario play out again.
This is where my mage becomes a vampire, unfortunately.
Yeah,
How this is scenario plays out. So it's been a lot of fun with that going on. Our Monday game is hopefully starting up again in a few weeks. I'm very excited about that because I know you want to roll some dice, Ted.
I do. I have a healer, I have a cleric, I have a dwarven cleric, and he needs to stretch his legs again.
He does. So that you'll like this. We were and I'll let you get to your stuff. We were joking, our DM of that game and I were joking the other day. And because we both love the show The Good Place, and I took on the personas of my rogue talking to our warlock and our sorcerer. I'm your hottest friend. No, you know Percy. I'm your nicest friend. No, you know Book. I'm your friend.
Yeah, classic Good Place.
Oh yeah. So I thought you would like that though. The I'm your nicest. No, you know Book.
No. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes. That's what's going on with me rolling dice.
Awesome.
What's going on with you, Ted?
Much like Mew, a lot of WoW. I have got exalted with all the Horde reputations.
Wow.
I still need 2 more on the Alliance side to get to Revered, but honestly, if you're doing the emissary quests every day and you're doing the mission table for any reputation things and just completely ignoring the gold and Azurite missions, those reputation missions help a lot, as do contracts. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been doing.
How are you
just
doing
those.
on yours?
Yeah, just doing the emissary stuff and the tables. I've gotten revered on all of the stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I haven't done the contracts. So that's probably the big difference is contracts, and like I don't chase a world quest unless it's for an emissary or it's for something that will be useful to me, whether it be the whatever the resources is called, and
The war resources.
Yeah, and if it's like a really good Azurite amount, like I'm not going to go after like 50 Azurite or something like that.
Right.
Something small like that. That's what the island expeditions are for.
Yeah. Do you have? I'm using Angry World Quest, and I think I picked up another add-on that basically will put a percentage after the amount of Azurite, and it'll tell you this is how much that Azurite will actually bump up your, because if it just says like 450 Azurite, you're like, is that a lot? Is that a little? Is it worth it? But it'll put like 450 Azurite. That's currently like 2.5% of your current level. Oh, okay, that's worth it. Let me go out and do that. So,
No, I don't think I have anything like that. I think I just have the usual World Quest add-ons and some other stuff like that.
Okay, I'll send that. I'll link that in.
I did add handy notes, which has been useful for the rares in Arathi Highlands.
Yes, very, very useful.
Yeah. That way if you've done that already. That way you don't go chasing after rares that you've already done.
Exactly. Or find the one that you missed because it's in a cave behind a mountain in it, down and to the left and around. Yeah.
Yeah. Requires this spawn or that spawn and this thing over here. And did you pull that lever and dance over here? Did you do this emote? Yeah. That sort of thing.
I did use handy notes to get all of the. What was it? It wasn't the exploration because I had all the 6-zone explorations. I think it was the treasures. Now there's another achievement as well that I'm working on, which is to get all the gray items that you can get in all the zones, and that one's like scavenger or something like that. So I'm still working on it as well.
Yeah. There was a concerted effort to go after those when I was first going through Zandalar stuff. I think we missed a couple. I was being dragged around by Eludra because we usually do that stuff as a leveling pair. And we first came across one of those like, what's this? It's just flavor, I guess. But no, it's part of this achievement.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think whatever handy notes I installed actually popped those up. So now I see like it looks like a treasure chest with a little
with spikes on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's the next thing I need to go back and to work on. But it's there's so much to do in there because I just got the Exalted Reputation. I was like, okay, I can. Oh wait, now I've got all this other stuff to do. So it's it's like I'm really glad. Honestly, I know people are missing the 10,000K rep after the Exalted to get the bag of rewards, but I'm so glad they didn't do that because now I can focus on other aspects of the game without continually focusing on the rep.
Yeah, so, they kind of talked about how they wanted to give you lots of content, but also to allow you to know that you don't need to do this thing anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's kind of like Island Expeditions. When you filled up the bar for the week, you're done. If you're not interested in that, right, you're done.
You're done. Yeah, just unless you're grinding for pets and other weird little things in there, just you're done. Don't keep grinding. You're just gonna drive yourself crazy. And there's still people that are driving themselves crazy, but
yeah, and there's no reason to.
No.
I will say this: leveling an alt right now and the reduced amount of Azurite needed is really nice because I think my alt who's 114 already has the Azurite necklace at 10. And I'm fairly certain I didn't hit 10 to like 118 or 119 when the first time you went through. So
they kind of did that smartly. They did. They figured out last time that having to get a trillion Azurite power or artifact power wasn't all that fun. Yeah.
No, exactly. Just give the same rewards every time. Mm-hmm. It just has a bigger impact.
Yep. So now level 1 takes 50 or something silly like that. It's a little easier.
Exactly. And our raid team, FERT, we got the first 3 bosses in Ulduar down on normal mode. We walked in and we actually one-shot the first 2 bosses and 2-shot the next boss we tried, and then I think we went to Vectis after that just to try and see how that went, and that went horribly wrong because we hadn't seen it before. So now that we've seen it, go ahead.
He's the red sphincter wall that everyone put up again. He's really...
guys, show title. Put that in there somewhere.
Very possibly.
Yeah. It's just a very prominent feature that no one cannot comment on how much it looks like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we've got that. So we're going to start progression tonight. We did Wing 2 of LFR on Wednesday, and the trash on what is the 6th boss, the center boss of that area, is not only ridiculous, it seems to attract people that don't play well with others that decide, oh, you're not pulling trash fast enough. I'm just going to gather all of it up multiple times and wipe out the raid. So there were many vote to kicks of people that were like, let the tanks pull. We've got this under control. You're not pulling fast enough. I'll go get some more. Okay, vote to kick. Bye. And when we pulled the last trash pack and actually hit the boss, then it was no problem. So
it
was just people have patience. Let the tanks do the directing in LFR and don't pull other stuff that doesn't need to be. So
that we got whole fight is such a pain to deal with the trash that, like, even when you've got people all on comms that are behaving themselves, there are aspects that will send that are fear. Like, it will send people fearing off in random directions, and it's like, oh, well, here comes the next pack. Oh well.
Yeah. Or the stray hunter barrage sends an arrow where it didn't belong.
Those pesky Moonkin.
Yep, exactly. Moonkin with larger AoE than they thought they had. Yeah. That happens in Waycrest a lot, Waycrest Manor. We pulled the basement on the 2nd floor. How did that happen? No, I'm not kidding.
Oh, no. I've seen it happen. And
just you're like, wait a minute, why am I still in combat? You're like, a minute later, why am I still in God, where did these all come from?
Yeah.
They're fine unless it's on meter.
No, it took me back to EverQuest days and pulling Castle Mistmore. You basically, the geometry and everything was so bad. It's like, no, you need to stand right here, not a pixel further. Stand right here.
Right.
We're going to go in, and this person's going to very carefully inch up, and get the mob's attention and run back to you. Okay, now no AoE Oh God, here comes the whole castle.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It was
that-
it was bad.
That reminds me of the Final Fantasy XI Goblin Train.
Yes. Yeah. So that was fun to do, to actually get in, do some normal mode raiding and do that again with the team. And we're gonna continue that tonight and see if we can farm up some more gear and get everyone some more gear, because we're a little bit under geared, but thankfully, like 3 or 4 of the first 6 bosses are undertuned, knowing that it's the first raid. So
Yeah.
we'll get it down. And I finally completed the Jaina storyline on the Alliance side, including the Siege of Borealis Mythic. And I think that's a new record for a dungeon boss. I had 15 wipes on the final boss.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I haven't seen that one yet because I have not had the time to get as far, unfortunately, on the Alliance side.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but essentially it's a coordination where there's one mob the DPS have to hit, and then there's 2 or 3 mobs that the tank has to at least keep engaged, and if not, they do an AoE damage that nukes the rest of the raid. And it's fine if the because it's Siege of Borealis, so it's water based. There are tentacles, and if they're like 2 of these tentacles the tank have to worry about are next to each other, everyone's happy. It's when there's 2 in front of the tank and then the third one spawns next to the DPS one, it just all goes south. But the 3 DPS and I, in fact, I'll tell you the positive outcome of this was we 3Q'd as DPS for it. We got a wonderful priest healer who was, for the part of that fight, was fighting their add-ons because there's a huge dispelling piece that they need to do in that fight. And went through 2 tanks, one after like 3 or 4 wipes. Just couldn't handle it and did I'm offline, disconnected, and went away. So we pulled in another tank, and that one lasted through the rest of it. And it was just like there's 3 different areas you have to clear to fire the cannons to kill the final boss. And it was like, okay, we got 1 down really well, now we're dying on 2. Okay, we got 1 down, we got 2 down, now we're dying miserably on 3. Okay, we got 1 down, we got 2 down, made it all the way to 3-4%. Oh, wipe. Okay, and did it again, and then finally got it down. So but that final cinematic to close out the Jaina story in that chapter is fairly awesome. In fact, I'd say it's on the same level of awesome as the Zandalari when you rescue the princess from Stormwind and escape. What happens in there? It's kind of similar, that level of awesome for the Alliance. So that was cool.
Yeah, they needed their own moment.
Yeah, the only thing I'm bummed about is apparently there's a mythic called King's Rest on the Horde side. But as far as I can tell, there is no breadcrumb, there is no quest, there is nothing that tells you, hey, go do this mythic, like there was with the Jaina storyline.
There kind of is. A lot of people didn't realize that there's a quest line that deals with Zul'jin.
Oh, no, I did all that. But again, you can do that on normal. You can walk into the area where the instance is, because you don't actually have to go in that instance to complete that line.
Yeah.
But that's all it is. It's like, oh, you're in the area. But if you're just worried about completing the quest, no one goes, oh, what's this raid entrance here?
Yeah.
So,
well, and then you do. There's the little bit that takes you back to one of the other dungeons, and then you have a conversation with Bomb Swamdi.
Yeah. But there's no like breadcrumb where you've got a quest to go into that dungeon and it's like, okay, I know I have to complete this to get this story. It's just like, oh, this mythic exists.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. So I'm a little bummed about that, but hopefully we'll get that done this week. And the one thing I said on the Alliance side, dear Blizzard, can you add a fairy master whistle? You've got all these wonderful fairies. No one uses them after they're done leveling because of the flight whistle. If you had a fairy master whistle that was separate from the flight whistle that you could whistle and a little boat would come up on the water and you could hop in and it would take you to this ferry station, I would be using that so much more. But because I can get from flight path to flight path without dealing with the fairy masters, nope.
Yeah, did you know that actually the Horde has a ferry system too?
No.
It's not very well advertised, but there actually is a ferry system on the Horde side. It's It starts at the docks. It's the guy that if you were doing any of the quests, any of the mining quests, there's a dude you have to talk to have your ore blessed.
Right. Yeah. The guy. Okay. The guy down in the little U shape of the water. Right.
Yep. That's actually a fairy.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. See, that's not well advertised.
Well, there's not even an icon for it, but there's actually
that's what I mean. System. It's not even on the map. At least on the Alliance, you can see where all the boats are.
Yeah. Well, as people like to poke fun, saying, "Oh, well, the Alliance needs that kind of guidance. The Horde just figured it out on their own."
No, I mean, sorry, Blizzard, but if you don't put it in people's faces, they're not going to use it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, once I found it, I did start using it. But yeah, you're right. As soon as I had access to the flight whistle, it's like, why bother?
Yeah, exactly.
But the only other time that I've found it useful is if you're an engineer, you can actually create an instant boat. So,
really?
Yeah, if you're in the water, you hit this instant boat, and it's a fast-moving boat that doesn't stop, and you can just kind of plow through the water, and it'll take you I guess to the nearest. You can aim it. You're piloting where it goes. You
right,
tell it,
but it just goes until you stop. Yeah.
Well, until it runs out.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's a Horde outpost on Kulturas where they basically timed Etten, and you fly in, and this is in Stormsong Valley. You basically fly in. There's an Etten there. You hop in him as a vehicle, and he'll run you where he'll just keep running until you hit eject, and then he throws you forward from wherever you are. Yeah. So it's really useful for getting through like a Horde infested or a Alliance infested area or stuff like that, because he doesn't get stunned or anything. He just keeps running, and then you're like, okay, I'm close, throw me, and he just throws you at the typically I use him to run over to the turtles, and he just throws you in the turtle, and if anything got aggroed, you just right click on the turtle and say, yeah, I'm ready, go. Okay, sorry about that mob train.
Yeah, there's something similar for the Alliance. I think that they actually get a Krog on Zoldazar.
Yep, so I haven't. Yeah, I haven't unlocked. I haven't got champions to revered yet to get those. Or no, I did.
Yeah, because you had to do the Jaina. Yeah, you might not have gotten it because you have to go over and you have to buy the item from the emissary person.
I check that, and see if I have enough. If I've done the outpost upgrades,
Yeah, well, you have to buy the outpost, and you have to upgrade the outpost. It's not very clear; it just kind of happens.
Yeah. And then the last thing I have been doing is on mobile, on my phone. We've been doing a lot of Pokemon Go lately. I have managed to get all the regional exclusives except for Lapras to hatch from the 7K eggs. In fact, I've gotten doubles of some of them, so I've traded those to my daughter, who actually started getting some of her own, so she's trading them to her friends. So the 7K eggs are definitely, if you're playing Pokemon Go still, the 7K eggs, hatching those are the way to get the regional exclusives.
No one's given me any.
I have some to give to you now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What about my Kyros?
What about your Kyros? And then the Alolan forms as well. So we've got that. And then I've started playing a new game just mainly for the music alone is awesome. But it's called Dragalia Lost, and it's a game by Nintendo, a mobile game by Nintendo, done by a Japanese company who's really good at mobile games. I mean, this could be on a console and you wouldn't even think about how good it is, how polished it is. But it's a combination of Final Fantasy Tactics and like Warcraft 3 RTS strategy type stuff. It's very Final Fantasy and Blizzard Mobile, on the phone, that level of polish. So it's really fun, and it's got some awesome music on it. So if you get a chance, look at it. It's called Dragalia Lost by Nintendo. It just came out.
Interesting. Yeah, speaking of Pokemon Go, one of the upgrades we got moving to this new house, we can catch Pokemon here.
Oh, nice.
Cool. And we can sometimes catch them here, but we're nowhere near a Pokestop.
Well, we were not far from some Pokestops at the old house because there was a pretty large park that actually had 2 in it. But for whatever reason, the entire neighborhood was just barren of Pokemon.
Interesting.
Oh, how weird.
Like, I would leave it open for hours and nothing would show up. And anytime I open it here, I'm just constantly getting, all kinds of fun stuff. Like I just caught a whisper. So
Nice.
we
Very
can play
cool.
here now.
Yay!
Yay! All right, but that's it for me. That's it for my week, McCullough.
Awesome. So before we close up stuff, I actually have some shout outs.
Ooh.
And they're personal. That's kind of fun. First, a little shout out to an old skill guildie named Bovey, who's a good friend. Who's one of the Phoenix area guildies, and his lovely fiance. They're getting married next Sunday.
Woohoo.
They are.
Which reminds me, you need to take that to the cleaners. And also a very happy belated birthday to Rabbit/Undata/Ara, whatever you want to call her. She celebrated her 40th birthday this week at Disneyland. So
Fancy. That's why she was there.
it was, yes. And there's a special shout out coming up next show due to a lovely letter that absolutely brought tears to my eyes. So
Yep, it was definitely one of those letters I had to read a couple times. Like, wow.
yeah. And I know that individual casually. So, and I was aware like part of what was going on, but yeah, that was that was a lot.
Yep. All right. Well, with the end of these shoutouts, this brings things to a close. So that's it for our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting show titles, we want to thank the chat room for joining us, and also to thank ourselves for talking to ourselves.
Yay! If you have questions or comments about the show, please email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. Mew is at The Mew Cow. I am at Cyberwaif. And Tet is at Irish Tiger. We record live with video every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us on our website, aie-guild.org/podcast-live-stream. And our Discord server for chat is bit.ly/AIE Podcast Discord. Our theme, of course, is composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website, keyswithsoul.com.
All right, and now it is time to play all of the great AIE member segments we received this week, including Ask Buxley and the Overly Dramatic News. Next time, we will be talking to Cyrene in WoW. So until then, AIE.
This is Mewcow.
This is McCullough.
And this is Tetsemi.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Yay!
I see where I forgot to switch names out right there. Sorry about that, guys. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. Isn't that something I say?
It is.
Oh, well. It all works out.
All right, and Sybil's got a couple show titles: Crossing the Saturn Rift and Red Sphincter Wall, the Big Butt.
That's a good one.
Someone had to put that in there.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that sounds like Lagging Balls title anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah. Any other show titles from the chat room? And since this is a host show, we reserve the right to surprise you and not pick one on the air. Woohoo!
Ooh.
So, all right, people are typing. I see lots of people typing.
Yes.
Yep.
Mew, you're in the chat room, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I know. Do we want to officially talk about that or what?
That's up to you. I didn't know if a final decision had been made or what's going on with that.
Well, on my side of things, it's no. Okay, no.
Okay. I figured as much. That's why we didn't say anything. But
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's still a few things we have to figure out.
Yep. All right, so it looks like we're leaning towards show title number 2, unless we see something else come in.
Yep.
So, all right.
Yeah,
I will let you guys take care of that. We have dinner, so
I need to start some risotto and sear some scallops and all that.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, chat room. So we got 2 good show titles, and I will talk to you guys next time.
Yeeks.
And 2 weeks, Cyrene, WoW here. Max is not streaming, but keep an eye on the Guild Twitch stream in case somebody does stream stuff tonight. So
Yes, definitely.
all right.
Bye, chat room.
Bye.